Okay, fine. So, hi Sumit, welcome to iOS development training. This is the session one, and myself, Nagmani Kanta. I am an iOS developer. So, in session one, we will be looking at some basic things like what is an iOS and what is the iOS development, and then what are the developer requirements. Then there is an Xcode ID actually where we do all the development work. So we'll be going through it. And the Swift is a programming language used to develop the iOS applications and some Swift basics in this session. So let's start with iOS and iOS development. So iOS means iPhone OS. So the OS in the iPhone, it's called the uh, iOS. So it's a mobile operating system. It's completely created and developed by Apple for its iPhones. And iOS development means it's a process of making applications to run on iOS devices. Means apps. Simply, you will be developing the apps. The process of developing apps for iPhones is called the iOS development. So we have basically two languages, Objective C and Swift. So Objective C is the old language, and Swift is the new language which was introduced in 2008 by Apple itself. And Objective C was from Next. There was an organization called Next. So they had developed the Objective C long back. So later, in 2008, Apple developed its own language called Swift, which is much more better than Objective C. It's easy to learn, and syntax, all the things are easier when compared with Objective C. So we will be going forward with Swift language only. So we'll be developing using Swift. So so before starting, there are some requirements for an iOS developer to develop the applications. First one is an Apple Mac computer running OS X or Mac OS. So that's in must and should. That's where you install the Xcode. So Xcode is an integrated development environment, for Mac OS. Using Xcode, you can not only develop the iOS applications, but for Mac, for iPad, for Apple Watch and Apple TV also. So you can develop the application. So Xcode is a development environment. Integrated development environment means IDE. So where you can code and design screens, all the things, and you can develop the application. And the third one is an active Apple developer account. So it's a developer account. Actually, in order to download the Xcode also, you need that developer account. So you have to purchase it from Apple, so which costs around $99 per year. So you have to renew that, after every year. So for learning purpose, we will be not needing the developer account. We can learn. Developer account comes into a picture when you have to, sign your application and you have to submit that into App Store. In that case, you need a developer account. Okay. So Xcode can be installed only on Mac OS, and Mac OS is available only on Apple's Mac computers. It may be MacBook or Mac Mini or iMac. Okay. So introduction to Xcode. So as said, it's an integrated development environment for building apps for Mac, iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, and Apple TV. Okay. Uh, so it's take you from concept to code to customer. So everything is can be done through Xcode only. Your concept, you are taking your concept to code and to customer through Xcode. You develop the apps using Xcode. You test the app using Xcode. Uh, you test the performance also of your application using Xcode, and you can test like some memory leaks and other things also in Xcode, and you can store and submit the app to App Store from Xcode also. So it's complete package. Okay, so that's why from concept to code to customer, and you can download the Xcode from these three links. Like one is the Mac App Store, and another one is two Apple's pages. One is Apple developer page, and another one is Apple download page. Those three are links. So from where you can download the Xcode. Okay, so this particular Apple downloads page is for for downloading the all previous versions of Xcode. So if you go to the Mac App Store, so it will open the App Store of the computer. Okay, the, this App Store has been opened, and here you will get the Xcode. So here it will be the latest version. Okay, you can't download previous versions from here. Then the next one is Apple developer page. So yeah, so this page needs an developer account. So I have been signed with a developer account. That's why it directly uh, took me to the. Okay, so it directly took me to the download page, and the latest version is 13 export 13. So it says to download here. You can download from here. Here also it will redirect to its website or app store. Okay, the third option is Apple downloads page. Okay, so here you can see all the previous versions of the application. Also some additional tools for export. All those things you can download from here. It's asking for. There's a two-factor authentication for account to login. So you definitely need an account to download the Xcode. Okay, so here you can see there are many things to download. The latest one is Xcode 13.4 version. So you can download that here. Some additional tools for Xcode also you can download from here. There are some command line tools for Xcode that also you can download from here. If you scroll back, you can see the previous versions also. This is 13.3.1, 13.3. Likewise, if you scroll down, you can go to export 12 also, 11 also. Okay, so this is for downloading the previous versions. Okay, you can say 12.5 here. So these are the three ways you can download the export form. And Xcode is this one. So after downloading, it looks like this. This is the Xcode. It comes bundled with simulator. Simulator is where you can see the your app, like how it's going on. So it's kind of iPhone only, but the simulation for simulation. Okay. So if you click on this Xcode, so this is the welcome screen where you have the right side. You can see all the projects you opened last time. So recent projects, and then there are options. Create a new Xcode project. If you are create a new project, so you can create a new project here. If you have a project on Git and you have to clone that through Xcode, so you can clone from here also, or you can open an existing project. Okay, so if you have existing project in your computer, so you can open that here. So let me create a new project so that I can explain you the interface. So if you select to create a new project, here you can see there are multiple options like for multi-platform. If you have to develop a multi-platform application, so you have to select one category from here. if we have to develop iOS, likewise Mac OS, Watch OS, tvOS, all things are there. So we will be developing an iOS app. So here in iOS also there are different categories of applications. So one is the app. So previously it was a single view application, means an application with a single view. Okay, and next one is the document app. If you have to create an app which is for reading and documents, all the things, so you can create this document app in which you can give you the setup related to document things. Next one is game. So if you are developing any game, so you will select this category. Next category is augmented reality app. So AR is the Apple's version of VR, virtual reality. So if you are developing something related to virtual reality, that is AR, so you will select this. The next one is Swift Playgrounds app. So we will go later for Swift Playgrounds. What are the Swift Playgrounds? It's actually to learn the things, to learn and try the things. Likewise, there are sticker pack app. If you are developing an application which will provide the stickers to users, like we have WhatsApp stickers and all the things, WhatsApp or hike stickers. Next one is iMessage app, Safari extension app. These are different types of applications. So you'll be selecting the single view application, that is app. So here you have to give a name, a product name for your application. So this will be, I will give a name, a test app. Okay. It needs a team actually. A team comes from your developer account. In developer account, there will be different teams. You will be creating a different teams working on different applications. So you have to select a proper one for application. There is an organization identifier which starts with reverse domain pattern. Like normally, how domain will look. If you take the example of Google, so Google will look like google.com. So it's reverse version like com dot. Here the practice is it can be the organization name. Okay. Uh, it can be organization name, and then under that you can see bundle identifier. So bundle identifier is the thing which distinguishes your application. It should be a unique one. Later, while submitting to App Store or anything, all things happen from this bundle identifier only. So bundle identifier, generally how it looks like, your organization identifier dot your application's name. You can see, like, I have given the product name as test app, then organization identifier as com.practice. So it automatically takes like bundle identifier as com.practice.test app. Okay, it appends the product name to organization identifier by dot. Okay, understood. So interface, so there is a drop down for interface, storyboard or Swift UI. So previously everything was storyboard. For interface means what user sees. So for designing the interface, we generally use storyboard. The latest addition to this is Swift UI. uh, all the UI is done to programmatically. The Swift UI is the newer one, so we will be going through storyboard. Okay, a storyboard is the thing where you have different kinds of views, XIVs, and all the things. So you will be coming that later sessions while developing the UI part. Okay. Next one, language. So here language, you can see two options: Objective C and Swift. So as we are going with Swift, so I will select Swift. And there are other options like use core data and include test. So for test cases, if you check mark this include test, so it will create a testing target, separate target for your application. And core data is it's kind of data persistence, local data storage. So for core data, we'll be later visiting this in later sessions. So if I click next, so it will ask me to where to store this project on your computer. So we'll select a directory here. Yes, and I click on create. Okay, so this is the Xcode. The first thing you can see here is it's your application name, letter. Here is your target, means your actual app. This is the project, and this is the your actual app, means your product. Okay, so test app, and you can select here simulators, different kind of simulator. Like you can select iPad Air, or anything, or iPhone, from iPhone 8 to iPhone 13 mini SE, all the, even you can select iPod. So previously, iOS was the operating system for both iPhone and iPad also. So now it's the same, but for iPad, Apple has diverged a separate on iPad OS kind of thing. But still, iPad OS, under the iPad OS, there is iOS only. If you are developing an iOS application, so it can be run on both iPhone and iPad. Okay, so that's why it has given the iPad simulators also. So this is the for running on simulator kind of things. Then next, here are we can see here multiple options here. So the first one is project navigator. So actually it here all the files related to your project, all the things can be here. So if you are creating any new files, that all come here. So it's like it's a directory, it's directory of your project. It's called the project navigator. You can visit any files through here. Okay, also you can search the files. If you have to search app delegate here, so you can search like app delegate, so it will filter the results. Okay, this is the assets, where you can add all the icons, all those things here. Also you can add image set, color set. So if you select image set, you have to generally you have to give three sizes of images to display in your application. It can be icons or any other static images. Okay, 1x, 2x, 3x. So generally designers provide you these three sizes, and you will just drag and drop here. Okay, if you select color set, so here also two options are there. One is any appearance, one is dark. Okay, dark mode. Are you aware of dark mode in your mobiles, everything? So similarly for iPhone application also there is a dark mode. So if you are supporting dark mode, so how that color should be in dark mode and in light mode? Actually, you can specify your colors. Here is the scale for if you have, there are some predefined colors here. You can select any one of them, or if you have the custom color, so you can give here the values for RGB, okay, and opacity, and it will get selected here. Okay, so images drag and drop here, and colors selecting here. Okay, for dark mode, because light mode, if your background is white color and your text color is black, but it when it comes to dark mode, that background will become black. So you have to change the text color from black to white. So that can, to support those two modes, actually we do this. Okay, so this is the .swift file. If you see here, app delegate.swift. Okay, the Swift file, this is the extension for Swift files, where we actually do coding. Okay, so for Objective C, this app delegate is class itself. So every class, there is one file only in Swift. But in case of Objective C, there were two files, header file and implementation files, .h and .m files. So you, for Swift, one file has been removed, means it become easy to program in Swift. Likewise, there are many more features of Swift which prove that it's the easy to learn and easy to work on a language when compared to Objective C. Okay, this is the storyboard. This is the storyboard file. So this is the Swift icon. So Swift files come with this icon. This is the storyboard. So this is the screen, one screen. Uh, you will come. We will come to this interface thing later. This is called the interface, designing an interface. Okay, so we'll come to this later. This also the storyboard, but this is the launch screen storyboard. If you launch any application, uh, there is one launch screen. Let me tell you, till the application gets loaded, you will see a launch screen. Generally, it is there will be an app icon for that thing. Okay, if you open this is the launch screen, and this is the actual screen. So before while loading, the launch screen can be displayed. So you can design the launch screen here, how it should look like. Okay. Okay. Then second one is source control navigator. This related to Git. If if this project has been hosted on Git, so here your branches and all these things will be listed here. From here you can switch to different branches, all those things. This for the Git control. And the next one is a symbol navigator. Uh, okay. And next one is find navigator, and next one is issue navigator. So find navigator is to search anything here, in project. For example, here you have this keyword, this string setup, called setup. Okay, if you have to search this, it will give results from every file where it's present. Currently it's present in this only file, view controller file. Okay. For that, if I select this test tab, so it should be in every file, every Swift file. This header will be there. Okay, the first one is its name itself, then in which module it is. So it's in the test app module. Okay, means our project's name, and who created this, and when it had been created. These things will be common. So if I select this, it should display multiple files. Maybe you can see, like, it has shown the app delegate, scene delegate, view controller. Also it's in your project file. This is the project file. So there also these things. Okay. Then this is issue navigator, where your build time and runtime errors come here. Compiler errors, all those things will be listed here. And the second one is next one is the test navigator. If you have any test written in for this application in your test target, so that tests should be come here. Okay. So next should be debug navigator, which means the debug purposes. So there are kind of breakpoints, so where you can break the execution. If the execution comes to this statements and this line, it will pause the execution here. You can debug from here, different kind of values. So this thing also we will come later, later sessions. So all these breakpoints will be listed here in debug navigator. Okay. No, sorry, not in debug navigator. Actually, it should come in breakpoint navigator. So debug navigator, uh, here also some kind of errors get listed here. Okay, when we will run the application, this whole thing will get filled, so you will get the more details inside here. And next one is up report navigator. Here every activity done on here, like if you build this application or if you run this application on any simulator, all those things come here. Also Yeah, the whole thing happens here. Activity, generally activities happen here. It should display it here. So it's currently ready. If I click Command B, so this command is for building the application. So you can see here it's saying building. So build activities in progress. So it gets updated here. Today at 4:35 p.m. we have initiated the build activity. Okay, so that thing comes up here. Okay, that's in here left panel. So if you visit the right panel, so there are file inspector here. Some information related to file will be visible. If I select app delegate file, so details about this file will be there. So name, type. So this is the default shift source file. Okay, location, where it is located, that its full path in your computer, all those things, and for which targets this file been added. Uh, for multiple applications, if you have multiple applications in single project, means if you consider the Uber or Ola scenario, in that case, there are different apps for consumer and driver. So you can accommodate those two apps in this one workspace only, called test app, and you can create two different targets. So one default target is there. You can name it driver application. Later you can create another target from here. You can see here a plus symbol is there. Okay, you can create a new target. Here you have to select the uh, sorry, app. I am selecting app. You can add extensions also for that. Some extension like if you are creating an watch application, Apple Watch. So for Apple Watch, there should be one main iOS application. So in that case, if it's the iOS application, you have to create an extension for WatchOS. So you can select extensions from here. WatchOS should be there. iMessage extension is there. Similar kind of things. And if you are creating a whole new application, for consumer or for driver, so you will select an app here. The same process goes. You have to name here. I'm giving something driver. Set the finish. So you can see both targets are there. So these are your applications. This is the one application. This is the another applications. Okay, in the single workspace called test app. Okay, so that comes here. If you have to add this app delegate file to driver application also, so you can check mark it here, or you can uncheck here. Like if you don't want to expose this file to a driver application. Okay, and these are all the text encoding and related things. The next one is here if you are this project is on Git. Here you can see the all the commits one by one, in which this file has been get modified. Okay, so that commits will be displayed here, and this is the help navigator. If you need any help regarding if I click on app delegate, so it giving the declaration. Okay, but this is the name given at our end, not in the library, means iOS SDK. But is this UI responder is from iOS SDK. So here you will get all the documentation kind of thing from here. There are some links also. You can go through these links. Okay, this is the quick help. Okay, so hide or show the inspectors. So these are the inspector. So if you want to hide this panel, you can select on this. That panel has been hidden and your working area has been increased. Same you can hide this side also, navigator side, and also your this working space has been increased. Okay, so this is the Xcode, Xcode overview. That was the Xcode ID. Okay. So now we will be going to Swift. Okay. So as I said, Swift is a language we use to develop iOS application. So this is the Swift's official logo. In Xcode, we have seen the Swift files. In the front of Swift files, there was this icon. Okay. So Swift is a powerful and intuitive programming language for iOS, iPadOS, as said before, also Mac OS, tvOS, and watchOS. So this is the official language for Apple for developing the applications for Apple. So Apple recommends to use this language or Objective C. It has many similarities with Objective C also. As I explained, like Objective C has some complex structure, but Swift is not that much. Swift is easy to learn, but more powerful than Objective C. It has more powerful features uh, than Objective C. Okay, and you can easily use the Objective C code inside your Swift project. If you have a project which is written in Swift, so if you have any library or any other classes which were previously written in Objective C, so you can directly use them in Swift. There is called a bridging header file. Using that bridging header file, you can directly access those files. So it can easily incorporate any legacy Objective C code. Okay, so that was the introduction. So let's get started with Swift. So for learning purpose, as I said, we can use playgrounds, Swift playgrounds. So for Mac OS, it comes inside the Xcode only, inside Xcode IDE. But Swift playgrounds are also available for iPad. So there is a separate application called Swift playgrounds for iPad. So you can learn the development, the language, Swift language, on iPad also, on uh, Mac. So basically, this is for learning purpose only, learning the Swift only. It won't support the Objective C also. It support only Swift language. So it has some interactive, environment where you can write the code, you can run that code, and you can see the result on right side also. Okay, so let me dive to you through Xcode. So I have to create a you can create a new project or new file or any new playground from here also. Here is the menu for this particular application, for this particular Xcode. So from file, if you select new, there are options like new file or new playground, new project or new package or new workspace, all those things. So this packages and workspace, you will come across that later. So I will select a playground. Here again, it's giving you four options, like what kind of playground you need. A blank one. Blank one is purely to learn about Swift. Okay. There is game. If you are doing something related game, so it will give you an interface which make easier to uh, add the components related to gaming purpose. Map. So here it will give you a screen which will display you a map. If you have to do something with map, if you have to learn something related to map, so you can select this category. And next one is single view. Single view means it will almost give you this simulator kind of thing, okay, to try out the things. Before there, only when the playgrounds were newly introduced, there was only this one category only. Later, playgrounds itself, evaluated uh, lots of things. So games, map, and single view application is also included in this playground. So you'll be starting with blank only, and by selecting the category of iOS. Okay, so here. You have to give a name for that playground and select the location where it should be saved. Okay, so this is the playground. So if you look into it, on left side you have these navigators, as we have seen in the Xcode also for new project. You can see here files. You can drag and drop files you need, any images or anything here. This is the area where you actually generally write a code in Swift. Okay, and this is the play button. So if you click on this, the code above this play button, the whole code will get executed, and the result will be on right side. So here we haven't done any operation yet. So here is no result is being displayed here. Okay. So later when now when we are going through one by one Swift basics, we will see here like how we can explore the playground. Okay. So you can see result here, like it's a string called hello playground. Okay. So this is all, this is about playground. We will be doing the Swift code in playground only while learning the basic things. So uh, so the first basic thing is Swift constants and variables. Okay. So constants and variables, what this do is, while defining you give some name to a constant. Okay. So what constant and variables do is, it associates name with whatever value you are providing for that constant or variable, and that should be of any particular type. Okay. uh, what the difference between constant and variables is, constant once defined with value, you can never change its value. It's a constant. While variables, if defined, later also in future, you can change the value of that particular variable. Okay. So we will see that clearly in in playground. So this particular statement is, this is the variable. Okay. uh, Let me define constant first. Okay. Constants. So constant define with constants we define with let variable, sorry, let keyword. Let my name equal to Naga. Okay. Okay. So this is the constant. Okay. And let me declare a variable also, where okay. So if you observe the constant, it starts with let keyword. If you are defining anything using let keyword, so compiler knows that it's a constant. Okay. If you later, if you try to change its value, and trying to change its value for something, or any what so it will not accept this. It will throw an error. So cannot assign to value my name is a let constant, because it's a constant, you can't change this. Same, if you change this age, it will accept, it will don't throw any error, because it's a variable. So if you define anything using var, it consider it as a variable. Okay. Compiler. Okay. So the next thing was, this was the name I was given for this particular declaration, which is called a property also. These are called properties also. Okay. So this is the type. of which type this property is. So I mentioned here string. So we will go into data types later, detailed approach. I said it's a string, it's a type of string, and I have given the value to it. Okay. Similar to here also, I said it's a variable, its name, I have given its name. I said it's an integer type, and I have given the value here. Okay. So constant and variables, can be uh, declared like this. So there are two concepts, type annotations and type inference. So this is called the type annotation. When you are declaring any constant or variable, you are annotating its type. Means you are mentioning what type it should be there. This is called the type annotation. And there is a type inference, uh, which is a famous feature of Swift, and which is a feature which differentiates itself Swift from Objective C and makes itself easy to learn or easy to use kind of thing. Type inference is, if I won't mention here data type, still it will accept this. It understood this is the string type because I have provided a value of type string here. Same case also here. If I won't mention here any data type, so it will assume these are integer because I have given the value of integer. So it intelligently, automatically, uh, understand that what kind of what data type of this constant or variable is according to value we have provided. So that feature is called type inference. Okay. So again, you can see here constants and variables. I have given this, two slashes before that. This is the pattern to declare a comments. So while programming, it's a good practice, to have comments over there. Like for what? For now, for your understanding, I mentioned here constants. So you can understand this is the constant defined here. This is the variable defined here. So for understanding what the purpose of this declaration, or later also if you are creating any clause, any function, any properties if you are declaring, so what for what purpose this has been declared, so you should mention that using comments. Okay. So comments, if you start with two slashes, two backward slashes, it should consider as the comment. Same similar, if I put two slashes here, this declaration will become comment. So compiler won't execute this statement because it's a comment. It only execute this one. See, it only, here it only print this age only. It's not printing, this name because it's commented out code. Similarly, the shortcut, for commenting out any code or uncomment is command and this backward slash. If you do like this, it will uncomment the code. If again press the same, it will comment that line. Okay. So these are the comments. So next one is, if you have to print this two, this constant and this variable, these two things, simply to print something in console, there is a print statement. If you type print, it will give you suggestion like, print my name. I have said print my name. So it should print that here. Also, it has print the slash n. That's because, in next line, if I am asking it print age, what it will do is it will print that in the next line. Because already for here, in this case, it has taken a slash n. Slash n is for, for next line. Okay. So this is, for printing anything. So this is the print statement. You use this to print anything. You can print like this, or you can print simply like this. Uh, got the message. So it will print that text, got the message here. See. So for printing all these things, for seeing the result, i'm I'm clicking on this play button, so if at this point I have already clicked on it and there are no changes after that. Okay, so if I do any changes here, so that play button gets again highlighted, get enabled, or it get disabled, like you previously had print, the result is here for this. Okay, so it has been disabled. So to see the result, whatever you are writing about here, to see its result, you click this play and the result will come here. Okay, so this is the print statement. And if you have any on programming knowledge before this, you should have observed something like this semicolon. One of the great feature of this Swift language is you don't require semicolons. It won't ask you semicolons. It will work without semicolons also. Okay, for some languages you definitely have to give semicolons, otherwise your code breaks. But for Swift, that's not the case. You need semicolons, when if you are defining multiple statements in one line. Okay, for differentiating these statements you need semicolon. Okay, otherwise you don't need semicolons. But what is the developer guideline is, you should write only one statement at one in one line. So we generally don't do this. For that purpose, you can omit the semicolons. You don't need them anymore. So that's the, again, Swift is making your work simpler. Okay, so that was about constants and variables, print statement, comments, all the things. Okay. So next thing is so data types. So for data types, as I said, like string and int are the data types. So Swift offers you us the different kinds of data types. Okay, which are like integers. Integers are the whole numbers, like 1, 2, 3, 20, 30, and floating point numbers. Second is floating point numbers. So floating point numbers, which in which you have fractional values like 1.2, 10.23. So those are the called floating point numbers. Boolean values are logical ones, true or false. Okay, and the strings. So strings is the text. So if you are printing anything or if you are displaying any text or anything, so it calls strings. Okay, so these are the four data types we have. So we will go through all this in playground. So you can see we have defined a string here. Okay, this string data, it's the integer data type. So integer data types, uh, it's basically defined with int. But you can see like you have other things also with int. You can see we have int 32, int 64, int 8, and int 16. So these are integers only. But what's the difference between this int and these things are? So int 8 is a 8-bit. It has a 8-bit integer. Okay, 16-bit integer is int 16. So generally we define using we generally use int only. If you have any specific reason to use int 8 or int 16 or int 32 or int 64, okay, so we generally use int only. So everything is similar, but its size is limited. Okay, so this is the integer. Okay, then next one is floating numbers, floating point numbers. Okay, integer is also a number, floating points are also numbers. Okay, so as said, floating point numbers have the fractional uh, component. Okay, let's say it's a percentage. So if the percentage are 93.22, so in that case you should use the float, because you have to give this fractional part also, you have to mention. So this is the float. uh, as we have uh, two types are there for float. One is this float, second one is double. It's a temperature, and I am giving it a data type as a double. Okay, so difference between float and double is float is 32-bit. Okay, and double is double to float, as name said, double to float, it will be 64-bit. Okay, so again, I'm writing this as a comment, so you can write comment in your statement line also. Okay, so percentage and temperature. Okay, uh, float and double. So a difference between int and flow, it has a fractional component, it's one difference. So float values store the very smaller numbers or very larger numbers than integer. If you make this, if you define any float with 0.0001, you can't store this much smaller number in integer. Either you can store 1 0 or 1 in integer, but you can store less than 0, like this smaller number. Okay, so that's the one difference from integer and this. The next data type coming to, so it's clear, right? Integers and floating numbers. Next one is boolean values. So boolean values have the value of only two values. It can be true or false. It's a logical. So if you have to define any boolean, how you can say, let's say you are taking any variable call it's started. So if you are, either you can define it as a true, or you can define it as a false. Okay, so it can be true or false only. And you can in later, if you are doing, if you are adding any conditions over here, if you are checking uh, in, like, if it started is true or false, so the result of this is also boolean, this if statement. If it's true, it will come over here, or it will go in else statement if it's a false. Okay, so that's about the boolean. Sorry, I haven't mentioned here. Okay, so next data type is strings. So strings are the text. If you are printing any something, or if you are displaying any anything on screen of your mobile application text. So you use this string data type. So string is, it's the sequence, or it's a collection of characters, single characters. uh, Let me declare one string. So what is this is, there are multiple characters. Okay, this n is one character, a is one character, g is one character, and this is the collection of characters. Okay, it's called the string. So it's the way of defining any string. If you have to mention a data type here, so data type for string is string only. Okay, remember this data types. For integer it's int, for floating you can use float or double, for string you have to use string. Okay, so this is the way of defining string. You can define like this. You can add in Swift, you can add two strings using uh, operator, like additional operator. Let's say from, it's also a string. Okay, if I have to add these uh, two variables, I will simply just for adding purpose, I will just say like name plus last name. So it will add these two strings. If you run this, you can see the result over here. See, it added, but we need a space. So again, while adding, if you need space, what you will do is, in between you will add an empty space. This is also one string. This is one string. This is one string. Combinedly, it's becoming a one big, big string. See, it's added a space over here. Okay. So there are many more features of string, like we can come across that when we will look into for loops or those loops. You can use the for loop on string itself, as it's a collection of characters. So for iterating each character, for doing operation on each character, uh, you know uh, you can use the for loop also for string. So this was string. So these were the data types, different data types. I will share a link with you, where you can go in deeply in this all these topics. Okay, so everything is not possible in this training purpose sessions. Okay, so next one is operators, basic operators we have in Swift language. So operators, generally we use the operators, if we have to check with some values, or if you have to compare values, or if you have to change the value of that particular variable, or constant, or if you have to combine these things. So as in this example of string, this is one operator. What it's doing is, it's combining the two things. So we use these things with operands, with operators. Okay, both sides of operators are called operands. This is the operand, this is also operand. Means the things on which this operator is performing operation is called operands. This is one operand, this is one operand. This is called left side. You can call it a left side operand, you call it a right side operand. Okay, similarly this is also a and operator. So what you are doing is assigning, this is assigning operator, you can call it assigning operator. It's assigning the combined value of this to this variable. Okay, so likewise an operator is is used to check, change, or combine the values. Okay, so we have this categories of operators, basic categories of operators in Swift: assignment operator, arithmetic operators, compound assignment operators, comparison operators, and logical operators. Okay, so assignment operator is that equal to one. So here we have assigned the value, this value to this variable, so it becomes assignment operator, means a single is equal to is the assignment operator. Okay, so next one is operators. Arithmetic operators are to do arithmetic operations, which are like if arithmetic operations, addition, subtraction, division. So in division you have remainder also. Okay, so these are the four arithmetic operations. We have used the addition over here. Okay, let's use other things also. If you want any age difference. Okay, so have you observed one thing, while declaring the variable or constants, or later you will come across the classes, structs, and functions also. So there is standard naming convention over there. So for these are called properties also, these variables and constants. If you're declaring any property, it should start with a lowercase letter. And if it has two words, if now my is one word and name is another word, right? So while concatenating two words, the first character of the next word should be capital. Later, everything should be in lowercase. Okay. Same here also, a last name, a full name. Now for age difference. Okay. So this is the naming convention for properties. I will explain this naming convention for classes and functions later when we come across them. Okay. If I want to make some difference, okay, so now it will be 28, right? So we're subtracting 2 from 30. This is the subtracting operator. Say addition and subtracting. Same. If you have to, divide something, and you want a dividend value of that, not a remainder, dividend value. In that case, you can use this operator, which is a slash, backward slash. Okay, so this will divide that 30 with 5 and return the dividend value. Okay, divided by 6. And if you want remainder after division, you use this remainder operator, which is percentage. Okay, if you do, it should return 0 because nothing there remains. If you give 4 there, if you divide by 4, so remainder will be 2. 6 4 ja 28, right? So 2 remains there. Okay, so these are the arithmetic operators we have. Later, compound assignment operators. Okay, so compound assignment operators, it looks like I have some number over here which is 30. Later, what I have to do is I have to add something to this. So instead of doing this, generally how can we do is number equal to number plus 10 if we have to add. So we will do this. This in shorthand, what you can do is number plus equal to 10. You can mention similar like here. Okay, this and this is the same. This is the in simple form. So this is called compound assignment operators. Okay, compound assignment. So here is assignment operator, and this compound operator can be addition or subtraction, plus or equal to, or minus or equal to. If you look into the result, it was 40 when I added there. Again, I what I've done, subtracted 10 from there, so it became 30. Okay, so this is the compound assignment operators. Then there are comparison operators. If you have to compare any two values, so you use this comparison operators. So this comparison operators, we have different kinds of comparison operators, where the one is, sorry, double equal to. Okay, the another one is this is called not equal to. This is the not operator. Okay, and this is equal to, so not equal to. Next one is greater than, less than. Okay, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. So these are the comparison operator. So first one you use to compare the values whether those are equal or not. Okay, if we have, let number 1 equal to 10, let number 2 equal to 10. Okay, so add these two numbers. If you have to compare, like if these two are equal or not, so what I will do is I will write a if statement. If number 1 equals number 2, okay, I'm comparing over here. If this is the case, print are equal. Else print are not equal. Okay, so let's play here this. So are equal, so it compares two numbers. Same if we do not equal to, so they are not they are equal. Okay, so it prints are not equal, because we have compared here not equal to, so it came here. It came in else part because those are equal. This condition has not been satisfied. Okay, similarly, if we ask that is greater than number 2, let me write here yes and no, so you will not get confused. Is number 1 greater than number 2? No, because both are equal. Similar in less than case. Greater than or equal to, let's see what it prints here. It prints s, because here are greater than or equal to. You are asking if number 1 is greater than number 2 or it's equal to number 1 number 2. So it's equal, one condition is satisfied. Okay, so it comes to s. The same result will be there for less than or equal to. Okay, so these are the comparison operators. The next operators are logical operators. Okay, so Okay, so the not here in this operator, not equal to operator, not is the logical operator. Okay, logical operators is not and this one or. Okay, so where this comes in place, this generally comes in if statements. So here we ask if number 1 greater than number 2. So this is the one condition. Okay, if I have to check another condition in the same line, I will check and I will add this and number 1 is less than 20. Okay, here I am checking two conditions. One is number 1 greater than number 2, also is number 1 is less than 20. In this case, uh, if it's true and it's false. Okay, so what will the result of both combining is false. Okay, so logical operators like this, if you are using and, so if both are true, value become true. If both are false, value become false. If any one of it is false, it will become false. Okay, that's the and logical. Or logical is, if this is true, it won't matter if it is true or false, it will go inside. Or this is false, and if it's true, still it will go inside, because any one of two should be true in order to satisfy this condition, in this case or. Okay, and coming to not equal to is, if we have to make a condition like this. Oh, this is not equal to, sorry. Let me declare a boolean value. Okay, it's completed. If I have to check if it's true or not, I simply will do is completed. If I have to check that if it's not completed, I will just add a not before this completed. What it will do is, what it will generally ask is, if is completed equal to false, this means this. Okay, if it's not completed, this is the not logical operator. uh, okay, so if you want, you can take a break for 5 minutes. Okay. So we are done with basic operators. The next part is control flow. So control flow means the statements, which control the flow of the execution. That's control flow. Swift provides us, different kinds of control flow statements. So here are the categories of the statements: while loops, conditional statements, and control transfer statements. So while loops, while loop is used, to the iterate the function or anything, a block of code, till it satisfies with the condition. Okay. So the simple while loop can be, if if you type while, it will give a suggestion. Okay. Or you can add the while statement from here. If you click on this plus symbol, there are multiple APIs, multiple code snippets. If you search here while, so you can see a while statement. Okay. If you click enter, it will add the while statement here. You have to know, first one is condition, and inside that you have a code. So while, okay. In while, there are two types of statements. One is while, another one is repeat while. Same. We will compare both two. What's the difference between them? I think there is no repeat while here. Okay, let me explain. What while do is, while first checks the condition. I will consider this number one, number two here only also. Number one less than number two. Okay. So this is the statement. Sorry, this is the condition you are doing, and here what you will do is minus number one by 1. Now, while number one is less than number two, okay. See, it gives an error. It throws an error. Left side of mutating operator isn't mutable. Left side means this one is not mutable. Mutable means changeable. So as this number one is a let, means it's a constant, so it's not mutable. Okay, it's not changeable. So compiler throws the error. Okay, for that we have to mark it as a variable where, okay. So now error warning will go. So why till number one less than number two, keep keep the value of number one decreasing by 1. This is the statement of this. This is the meaning of this statement, while loop. Okay, first it checks a condition, then execute this. In this case, it will iterate only one time. Okay, why? Because first it will what check if number one is less than number two. So here both are equal to. Okay, sorry. It will not iterate anything because here only the condition has been not satisfied, so it will go out. Okay, if you say it's greater than, and if you increase this number by 15, once 5, if you make it 15, so in this case it will iterate how many times we will look into. I think it should print the iterations over here 5 times. Okay, so why 5 times? First it will check number one greater than number two. Yeah, it's true, because number one greater than number two. It will go inside, decrease that number. Now number became 14. Again again it will iterate this. Number one greater than number two, yes. So it will go again inside. It will decrease by 1. It will become 13. Similarly, third time 12. Fourth time it will become 11. Still it's greater than number 2. So again fifth iteration is there, and now it will decrease it by again 1. It will become 10. 5 iterations. After 5 iterations, uh, it will, here the condition will not be satisfied, so it will come out of that this while loop. So this is while loop, means it will loop the iteration till condition gets satisfied. Okay, once condition is satisfying, then only it will go inside the block and execute this code. Okay, so repeat while is there. uh, I think this repeat while maybe I haven't removed. It's like repeat while. Okay, so this is the repeat while. What it will do is, in repeat while, first it will execute this repeat block. Means first it will execute the statement itself. Later it will check the condition. So in this case, it was first checking the condition, later executing this statement. But here it will first execute this statement and later check for condition. Okay, so I will reinforcing this number one again, because after this for loop it will become, 10 again, value of 15. Okay, so again I am doing number equal to 15. It's variable, because of that I was able to assign a different value for that here. Okay, let's see how many times this loop will go there. Same, 5 times. Okay, first it decreased the number, it became 14. Then it checked for this. Okay, similarly 13, 12, 11. Again it decreased to 10, because condition is later. Here it was decreased this till, you know uh, 11. Here it will decrease it till 10 also, because later it is checking the condition before execution statement. Okay, so this is the difference between while and repeat while. Okay, this was while. Next one is conditional statements. So conditional statements are, if else, that kind of thing. So the simple if statement we have seen here. Okay, if else. Okay, there are other things also, you know uh, if let statement, guard. Okay, guard and guard let. So what guard let do is, what if do is, let me again try this. Okay, so this is the general if statement. So guard is starts with guard. Okay, guard number one, right, and then number two. Immediately there's a else statement. Okay, uh, here you must should have definitely mentioned written here. Sorry, not written. So in if it checks the condition, goes inside. If condition has not satisfied, it go into else. Okay, but for guard, what do is first it goes into else block if condition not satisfied. Then outside of the guard statement, you do the operation here. For example, if number one greater than number two, print are equal. Okay, here this print statement where it should be out below the guard statement, because the execution goes like that are not equal. So here it should be are not equal. Okay, uh, so see the difference here. So first there is else block, then after the guard statement, the if condition satisfies, then it will execute the below line of codes, below line of statements. Otherwise, generally after else there's a return keyword. Okay, it returns from the whole scope. If you have written this in a function, okay, then it will go there. When we will talk about functions, all those things, we will talk about if let and guard let also. Okay, after the optionals and all those things, there are some optionals which Swift provides. This guard and if let statements work on those optionals. Okay, so this while and repeat while is clear, right? Conditional statements, if else.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, so when we are using guard, if that doesn't go in that else part, that bottom part will be also run. Na?
Then only it will run.
It is like it is not included in bracket guard.
Yeah, that's the guard statement actually. If you are writing a guard statement, you generally write like if condition gets satisfied, then only some below code should execute. If it's not satisfied, it should exit from that particular block of code, means that particular function. That's why guard statement is there. So under the guard statement, whatever the lines are there, if you have to execute those only if condition satisfies, in that case only you write the guard statements. So when once we done with the optional, there's a concept called optional, it will more clear about guard statement, guard let and deflect statements. Okay, so the next is for loops. Okay, while talking with about strings, I said like when we will do the for loops, uh, we will look into more about string. So let's say we have a string called village name equal to some village, let's say Baner. Okay. Now what I have to do is I have to print each character from this string. Okay. What I will do is I will write a for statement here, or you can add from here also snippets, code snippets. See, for statement. So the syntax for statements in Swift is for item in items. Okay. The next code. Your items are this village name. It's a collection of characters, right? So this is the items, and what will be item is, let's say, character. So you can define a name for every item in every iteration. So in first iteration, the character, this character will be B. Okay. After that, in next iteration, this character will be A. Okay. You have the access for that character before. Okay. So here, if you have to modify this character, or if you have to do any operation of this character, you can do here. What I will do is I will simply print that character here. Okay. Let's see what it prints. It print 5 times. It only printing the how many times the loop is going. Okay. So let's do another thing. Let another string which is empty. Okay. So it will be where, because we have to modify that. What I will do is I will add every character in the iteration to this another string. I have added this operator also for string. Okay, this is the character. This is the character. The type for this is character, and this is string. String is a collection of character, right? So it won't take. We have to do is string of. If we do like this, string of an element here, it will convert this into string. See, warning has gone. Similarly, if you have any int, and if you are doing string of integer, so it what it will do is its result will be this, like 8 in string. This now string, not integer. Okay, this string of do the conversion thing here, wrap into string. Okay, and I will print after this loop another string. Let's see what it will be. So it's also same Barnier. It iterated every character here. So in first iteration, this character would be the first one here. Okay. This is similar to for loop in other languages, like, we have for, uh, I equal to 0, right? Something like this. There is I and I plus plus. Okay, so it's iterates for 0 to n, that kind of thing. So it will iterate from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0 to 4, because the length of this character is 5. So that's the for loop here. Okay, also there are range operators here. uh, Sorry, range statements, not operators. Okay, if we have to do some operations from numbers from 1 to 100, so what we'll do is for I in 1 to 100, the loop is from 1 to 100. You know, for first iteration it will be 1, second iteration it will be 2. This is the range operator, and this is the for loop with range operator. So this goes to 1 to 100, right? If I what I'll do, I will remove one dot, and if I add less than, so what it will become, see, from 1 to less than of 100 means 1 to 99. The iteration should be from 1 to 99 only. It won't touch the 100. Similarly, if you is greater than, so it will go till 101. Okay, so this is the range operator, dot and these things. Okay, so these are the conditional statements. So next one are control transfer statements. So as the name suggests, control transfer means which transfers the control from that point. Okay, so okay, so in sorry, in conditional statement there is another one, I forgot it, which is switch statement. Okay, let's add it from here so that the exact syntax should be there. So this is the switch statement where you check for multiple conditions, means multiple statements. Okay, uh, let's say this village name, there are multiple villages. You have to select if village name is Baner, then only you have to perform some operations. Okay, but if you want, what you will do is you simply use the if statement. If it's Baner, you'll perform such statements. But let's consider there are a scenario, you have to do, if it's a Baner, you have to do something. If it's a Bowden, you have to do something. If it's a Kotrud, you have to do something. And there should be one default one also. If not from this all, then what should I do? Okay. So for that we use the switch statement. So switch value means here goes village name, means for what you are checking, you are checking village name. So there in switch there will be cases, like for every condition there is case. If you have to check for Baner, so you will simply write down here Baner. If it's Baner, what we will do, print Baner. Okay, or you can simply write I am in Baner. Okay, or if you have to check for Bowden, if it's Bowden case, if you're writing case, then you have to do is this column. Then inside this case, you will write the statements. Okay, print I am in Bowden. If you have to give some default value to switch statement. because if it won't satisfy these two values, binary or Bowden, or again if you have 10 values there, you are checking 10 cases. If still the value of this village name is not in that 10 cases, so in default case, what should this do? I will say in default case, let's break this loop here, break this condition here, break this whole flow here. Don't do anything. Okay, for that purpose you use break, means break this scope here, move to next one. Okay, so also in default, you can perform operation also. Here you are performing operations like same kind of thing, operation you can perform here also. I don't know where I am, and then break, you will break the whole flow. So if you compare this swift switch statements with other language, let's say in objective c, in objective c, for every case you have to mention the statements there, what you have to do. Same, you have to do the break also there. If you are not doing this break, what it goes to, it goes to next iteration also. Okay, for Swift, Swift's feasibility is you don't need to mention break there. If it's binary, exactly binary, it will execute this statement. Later, it will exit from there. It will want to go to checking all the other cases. Okay, it doesn't fall through. That case is called fall through. Fall through means if condition is satisfied, still check for next cases. That's come fall through. Okay, so here we have seen two things, break and fall through. Okay, if you want that behavior, like if you want that fall through behavior, what you will do is you will mention here fall through. So if you are mentioning here fall through, what you will, it will check if it's a binary, it will come inside, it will execute the statement, it will see a fall through, it won't get exit from here, it will again check every case because you are mentioning a fall through. Okay, if you don't want, you will don't mention that fall through. So that's the you know Swift feature, one of the Swift in feature. Okay, so let's see what it will do. I am in banner. Okay, what I will do is okay, it came here. If you want to see like the fall through behavior, it means I have been checked for Bowden. If it's really coming here or not, if you have to check. So it haven't printed this statement. That means it haven't come to here. Okay, so that's the case. Okay, that's the switch statement over here. Here we have seen two things. One is break, which breaks the flow here, control flow here. Okay, another one is fall through. Fall through means which makes like, okay, let's go to other conditions also, let's check in other cases also. So that's the fall through. Okay, so break and fall through are uh, control transfer statements, these two. Okay, there are other control transfer statements also. There is a continue, return, and throw. Okay, so we have seen break and fall through. Continue is Okay, you can use break in for loop also. So in this for loop, if you have to check, if character with this character equal to n. Okay, if character is n, what your requirement is, if character is n, you have to break this flow. Means you don't have to add more characters for this statement after n. Means you only want ban here. Later this whole loop should be breaked. So you will simply do break here. Okay, it will break this whole iteration. Similarly, if you know if you do continue here, okay, what you will do, if still condition is satisfied but still it will ask for loop to go forward, go for next iterations. Okay, so that's the difference between break and continue. Then there is throw uh, throw control transfer statement, which is this basically used to throw the errors. Okay, means if one condition is not satisfied, if number one less than number two and this condition is not satisfied, what you will do is throw, but here you have to give an error. So I'm just for your understanding, I'm just just writing over string, but it won't accept string. It needs the error. Error is the class, so it needs the object of error class. Okay, but we can mention here like throw error, so it will throw error at that case. See, this is the error class. Okay, so these are the control transfer statements. uh, Clear everything? Yeah. Okay, so after control flow, the next part is functions. So what are the functions are? Functions are self-contained chunks of code. Means self-contained block of code which is used to perform a specific task. Okay, simply if you want to add two numbers, what we have done here is, uh, have we done, yeah, here we have done to get the full name, what we have done is name plus these things. Okay, the same ideally should go into function, a separate function, okay, which returns full name from first name and last name, or a function for adding two numbers. Okay, so function actually in Swift start with func, this func keyword. Okay, you define using func keyword. Func some function is the again name for that function, and functions ends with bracket, open and close bracket. Okay, then the body of function, this is the body of function, this is the keyword which tells this is a function, this is the name, this is the open and close parenthesis. Okay, this is the simple function. Okay, without any parameters. If you want any parameters, so you mention that parameters in this open and close parenthesis. Let's say your function is sum of two numbers. or simply say sum of. Here you will define a parameter. Number one, you have to define a data type for that parameter. I say this is an int. If you have multiple parameters inside the function, that will be separated by comma. Okay. Again, number two, which is int. Okay. So now this function accepts two parameters. One is number one and one is number two. So when you call this function, you define this function here. You are calling this function from outside, like from any of the file or any of the place. So if you have to call this function, you write that function name here. The suggestion came. You can see like it's showing number one and number two, means it's saying it accepts two parameters. One is number one, another is number two of integer types. What we have defined here is it's giving here. Okay, it's suggesting that. If you click here is, see, it has it has written number one, number two here. It's accepts. What we have to do is we have to provide values here for number and number two. Okay, if you provide here 100 and here 20, then this function call is okay. So this is the function with parameters, two parameters. Okay, now function will have return types, and if function returns something, you should be start with this two. Okay, then you have to define what data type your function is returning. Okay, I am giving like it will return integer. So as soon as you have given it's a return type, the compiler will throw error because you are not returning anything from inside the function body. Okay, if again, if I will write down here sum of, now you can see it says it accepts two parameters and return one integer. Okay, what I will return here is I will say like uh, let sum equal to, I am doing some operation in the function. Okay, number one plus number two. Okay, then I am returning. So to return the value, to return any value here, you say return, and you mention what you have to return. I have to return yes. So error was gone. Okay, now if you use this number of, if you give here numbers 80 and 20, it will throw a warning here. Okay, now it's a bit slow. Ideally it returns a warning. It says that this function's return type hasn't used the value it's returning. This value haven't been used. Okay, for that you have to store that value. You have to store that value inside one property. Okay, from variable. Now the whatever this function will return here, it will get stored here. Okay, now tell me what this function will return here. Here, what will the value of this value? 100, right? Let's see. It's already given there, I guess. 100. Okay. One thing you should have, the number one and number two. If I click over here, it highlights these one. Okay, but we have already here globally declared number one, number two. Why it's not relating to them? Okay, if I simply write here, number one, I click here, it relates with, you see, it relates with these global declarations. But inside function, if I am writing number one, number two, it's not relating it with these. That's because inside the body function body, if you are writing is, so this referring to the local variables. These are the local variables, or local, okay, these are the local variables. The scope of the scope of this should be here in this brace only. You can't access these parameters outside of this scope. Okay, got it. That's the one thing. So this is the function which accepts two parameters and returns an integer. This is the return type of a function. Okay, you can in function, shift, you can give a default value. Means you can say this is 10, number one is 10. You have provided the default value inside the function declaration. Now when you call this function, so it's giving the whole syntax here, like two parameters, or it's giving number two only. Okay, you just return here number two only, don't return number one, still it's accepted, because you already provided here default value. That means if user in next lines, if user is not providing the number one value, so I have this already one value here, so I don't compulsory need the number one. It even didn't ask for that, it even didn't throw error here and return the result over here. You are passing 10 here, it took the default value of 10, make a sum of the two numbers and return. Okay, so this is the default value. You can provide a default value for a parameter in function. Okay, let me go through one crazy feature of Swift. Actually, you can do this whole thing in single line. Just remove this line. Just say like return number one plus number two. It will calculate the value of this. It will perform this operation and then return the result here. In single line, you can do this. So this is the one of the good feature of Swift language. Okay, so these are the functions. These are about the functions. So you are clear, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So the next one is classes. Okay. So let me clear this. It has become a lot. So classes, classes, in classes, like it's the abstract, okay, which has your constants, variables, functions, all those things goes into classes. So you should know the basic definition of classes, right? Yeah. So we'll be looking like how classes can be implemented in Swift, okay, directly. So when you are declaring a class, you should start with class keyword. Okay, just like func for function, let for constant, var for variable, class is for classes. So if you add snippet from here, so you can see the class declaration. Okay, oh, this is the objective C one class declaration. It's providing objective C class declaration. Okay, here is objective C. we can do manually. Class person. That's it. You have defined a class. Okay, this is the class person. Similarly, if you have to if you have to create a class, your class, and it should be a subclass from any other class. So in that case, what you will do is class myself, and I want this to be a subclass of person. This is called subclassing. Okay, this is class. Okay, this is the syntax for declaring a class or any subclass. Okay, so you can extend the classes actually. For extension means you have some statements here. Okay, all are these your statements. Later, you got a requirement for something that let's do this thing. You have to do one operation. You haven't mentioned it here. You want it should be separately there. What you will do is just write down the extension snippet should be there. See, array, it goes to again Objective C class. Okay, I will write down manually here. Extension person itself. This is the extension of your class, and you will do other things over here. You are extending class for some other functionality. Okay, we will do that. Let's say in class called person, you have two variables where name, that person's name. Okay, while declaring properties, you can later when we will go to properties, we can see like what this exclamation mark is, why we are declared like this. Okay, where age, it's an int. Okay, the name is string integer. Again, you have a uh, functions to get name of the person. Okay, so I want to get the name of that particular person. Okay, from this class means I want to get this particular name for this. Okay, so what it will return, then the function will not accept anything because this we can use it during initialization. It only return the name. So what will be the return type?
Now it is void. Means for returning name, it should be string.
Yeah.
By default, it is void.
Yeah, so it should be string. Okay, okay, and I am asking here, return the name you want.
Sumi, can you repeat question?
Yeah, so I was asking what should this function return? I have to return this name.
The return should be string.
Yeah,
And this will
okay, so I am asking here, to return the name property we have here. Okay, also I'm writing another function to get the age of the person. Okay, if you are observing the naming convention, it's the same to naming the properties, that's constant and variables. First letter of the function should be small in lowercase letter. Then every word's first letter would be capital. Okay. But when we are defining a class, we are using the capital letter first, because class name convention should be like this. The first letter of the class should be uppercase. Okay. Now, what will this age return? What will the data type?
Int.
Int. Yeah. Okay. So, what I have included in a class is I have I have two properties in that class, and I have two functions in that class. So, collection of all these things is the class itself. Okay. It's throwing an error now. Class person has no initializers. For Swift class, there should be a initializer, means a initializing function. Okay. There is a default init for every class, init function. Okay. If you have to override it, default one, so you will override this. But I am writing a custom initialization here. Okay. Custom initializer where it will need to pass this parameters. Okay. So this init function is for what is, uh, if you are initting this class from outside, so for that purpose, this init function should be there. So let's say I have here another class. Okay. And I have to create an object for this person class here. Okay. Let naga equal to, what I am doing is I am initializing this person class. If I open the parenthesis here, it's giving me suggestion. See, name and age, and it's giving here data types for that also. What so what this function is returning here? What this is that it is returning a class, person class, means that class object, that class instance. Right? By this, we are creating an instance of that class. So I will provide the actual values for that, name and age. Okay. And so it will come down here, initialization part. What will I do? I will populate my local variables with these values. So here we will use self dot name equal to this name, and self dot name is this name. Okay. Self dot age equal to age. So this self, why we use self is, self means this class itself. Okay. You can see that this name and this name are the similar, right? Means the name is similar for these variables. So that's why self dot name. So self dot main means this name equal to name, this name. Or you actually, if you don't use this self, it will throw an error. It says like, cannot assign to value name isolate constant. It's considering this only for this name also. For that purpose, we have to use this self keyword here. Okay. Self means this class. Okay. So I have created an instance here. I will remove this. I will later explain this. Okay. So I missed the naming convention here. I have given a capital here for an property. Okay. So now I will let me write it outside of this class, as we can have the result at right side. Okay, print naga dot name. Okay, sorry, naga dot get name of the person. See, in print statement itself, what I have done is I have accessed the method, a function from the person class through instance of that class. This is the whole lot of code actually. This is, you know, if for understanding purpose, you have to give let name equal to naga dot name. Sorry, get name of the person. Let age equal to naga dot get age of the person, and then you should use, print name. Means I have combined these two lines here by doing like this inside the print statement, and Swift accepts it. If you want to see, it will print naga. Okay, this access from this function. So while writing here, naga dot, we are able to access the this function also, and that property also. If you see here, p is there, means it's a property. It's a m, means it's a method and function both similar. Okay, so what I do is, I don't want to expose these two properties to other classes. So for that, I will mark this as private. This will come down later, in later sessions. This private is, access specifier. So this will come down later sessions, like about this. Okay, now I will won't able to access that name. See, huh? I'm not able to access it. I'm only able to access the function. Similarly, if you mark functions also as a private, you will not able to access that function also. See it throwing error. So it's a private protection layer, you can't access that. Okay, so that's the protection. Okay, what I will do is, I will create another property. I will say some person equal to, I am, and what I am doing is I am assigning this uh, this object of class, means this constant, it's a constant. Okay, to another one thing. Okay, so now this naga is the some person. If you again, try this thing, instead of naga, you if you same some person, it should return the naga here. See, it's written naga because I have assigned it here. Okay, okay, what I am doing is, I am removing this private uh, protection layer over here. Okay, and I am manipulating the values. I am doing that through some person, not through naga. Okay, some person dot name equal to something. Okay, Okay, I am not changing from Naga. I am changing from some person. What? Let's see what will be the value of this. It's something. Okay, because I changed from some person. Oh, if I say print Naga dot name of the person, okay, still it's returning something. I mentioned here Naga, not some person. I'm changed for some through some person, right? But classes are reference types. They share the same reference, same memory reference. Okay, while creating this object, memory has been allocated. It has some memory reference, right? I have created this some person here, but it's sharing the same memory reference of this Naga. It's not getting allocated a different memory location. Are you able to understand?
Yes, yes.
That's why I change the value of this, but originally at that location this Naga is there, so it changed the value of this also. Okay, that's the reference types. Remember, the classes are the reference types. Okay, that's called the reference types. Okay, so we have seen the extension of classes, right?
Yeah.
For understanding here, again I am saying extension person. Here your purpose is, you are declaring a function. What you will say, multiply age by 2. Okay, this is the your crazy requirement, or your something different requirement. Okay. Oh, it should be in right direct giving values, where you your requirement is you at a point of time you want a multiplication of that age. You want to get the multiplication of age of that particular person. Okay, so what you will return here, it should return the int, right? The multiplication value. What you will do here,
I will multiply with something that is. Uh,
yeah, whatever this function is getting through, you will multiply that and return that. Okay, so return age multiplied with by. Okay, okay, so you see in extension also you were able to access this age, because it's the just extension of that class person. Everything here you can access here. Maybe it may be in another Swift file, still you will be able to access that there. Okay, and you can access that here also. Print Naga dot, sorry, it's a playground, right? In Xcode, this function can be accessed here also, because you have multiple files, multiple things. But playground you can't do that. You have to do one by one after one. Okay, so here again you can see that, see, multiply age and access it. I am asking by 2, multiplied by 2, so it's 58. Okay, so that's the extension.
and sir, why we need extensions? We cannot write in one class.
You can write at on class, but for code beautification, you can say everything should be separated. Every some common things are in the class. You have another requirement. You have to say that class to perform some other action. You write that in the extension. You can create a separate Swift file for that. You can name that Swift file, extension plus class name, extension plus person. You write there. Your class file length should be limited, right? Okay, so that was about classes. Okay. Okay, so the next part is structures. So what are structures? Are similar to class, but classes are reference types. Okay, but structures are not. Structures are value types. Okay, so we will use that. So class defined by a keyword class. Okay, structures are defined by a keyword struct. Same letter, it's same. The whole syntax is same. Okay, now in this case, still in structs also, uh, you can define properties.
Sir, can you tell me one more time what is difference between struct and class?
Classes are reference types. As I said, if I am changing that one location, it's getting changed. But structs are not like that. Those are value types. When I try to copy the Naga into some person, the reference get copied. Okay, I am changing some person, Naga is also getting changed. But in structs, if I am trying to copy Naga into some person, Naga is a separate entity. Some person is a separate entity. Okay, and also inheritance. You can inherit the classes, but you can't inherit the structs because inheritance purely depend on reference types. Okay, so I'm defining same properties here. Age structs to have initializers like classes. This is the initializer as we used in for class. Here also you have to use self dot name. Everything similar. Those two major difference are there. One is that is referred as its value types. Another is you can't inherit the struct. See here it's returning an error. Return from initializer without initializing our stored properties. For class also, it returns this error because you initialize this name in init function, your init function, but you cannot initialize this age, and you can't initialize that from other things, other places. You have to initialize here itself. Okay. Okay. Now the error will go. See. Same function. Get name of the person. It should return string. Function get age of the person. It should return an integer, right? So here return name, return age. Okay, so let again you can create an instance of person same as class. Okay, by using a initializer. Naga age is 20. Okay, so I'm printing here print naga dot get name of the person, print naga get age of the person. Okay, so it will behave similarly till now, returning the name and here age. Now that thing value type, how it comes here, let's see. Let some person equal to naga. I copied naga into some person. Okay, I'm modifying some person dot name equal to some person. Okay, it says it's a let. You have to make it where. See, in classes also this thing goes on. I'm not able to change that because I mentioned that let. This also. Okay, okay. So I'm changing the some person. If I print some person dot get name of the person and again print naga dot get name of person. Okay, so ideally in case of class, what should it print?
Some person in both.
In both, right? But here you see that's the major difference between structs and classes. One rule is there while developing these things. Always you should start with the struct instead of class. If you have any problem with this, that value type and reference type, and you have to inherit inherit from that class, then only you should use class. Otherwise you should go with struct, because structs use the different memory, so that's the memory safe. Once classes save the memory, but like we changed here for some person. So coming to next development, there will be multi-threading thread concepts. Okay, if you are if you are changing the value from different thread and accessing the value from different thread, and it's a reference type, so there you will face the issues. But for structs you won't face that issue because it simply copies the value itself, not reference. Okay, so for that kind of, and structs are lightweight objects when combined with classes. Okay, so that's the struct. Also you can extend the structs also like classes. Okay, okay, that was about structs. So next one is enums. Enums are a self-contained block of code. We can add a snippet from here, from enum. This enumerated type. Enum means enumerated type. Okay, so defines a set of related values. So what is meant by enumerated? Defines a set of related value. Is the set of uh, related values. So how it should look? So enum, to define the enum, it will start with enum keyword, like class for class, struct for structures, like enum for enum. I'm saying my enum. So inside enum, values, rules or values are defined in cases itself. Okay. To be more sure, here, let's say state codes. No, for any registration number, bike or car registration, that first two letters is state. Okay. So I'm giving for Maharashtra case Maharashtra. Okay, another case is Gujarat. Another case is Telangana. Another case is Andhra Pradesh. Okay, Enum case, ideally can start with capital letters. Okay, so I have just maintained, just give the cases name. You can assign a value for each case. Okay, for Maharashtra, I would like to assign MH. For Gujarat, I would like to assign GJ. Basically, this is the registration number they have. Okay, Telangana is TS, Andhra Pradesh is AP. Okay, I have this uh, one constant with me. In case cannot have a raw value if the enum does. Okay, yeah. See, it throws an error like enum case cannot have a raw value if the enum does not have a raw type. We are assigning the string values here. Okay, but we haven't specified the type for this enum. That's why that is. So if you want to use the string values as a raw value for these cases, you should define this enum with the same string data type. See, warnings have gone. Okay, if if you don't give these values, don't assign these values, the value of this case itself becomes the name of case. The value of case will become Maharashtra. Okay, so let's say I have one code with me which is MH, which says it's MH. So ideally, which case this is? Maharashtra case, right? We know that, but in code, if we have to check that, you will say, if you check, let code equal to state codes dot Maharashtra. Okay, so this is the raw value, as I said. Okay, so you have to compare with raw value.
If he does not draw that raw value, it will compare with image.
If we mention raw value, it will compare with MH. If you not use raw value, it will compare with this Maharashtra.
Okay.
So which will fail, right? So print vehicle is from Maharashtra. Okay, so it will print because there's MH here. You are seeing this value as MH, but while working in real time, this value is coming from server. You don't know what the value is. In that case, this will come. So this is the simple if statement, right? But you have to compare with all these things. You have to print like if it's GJ, so print vehicle is from GJ. If it's Gujarat, if it's TS, print vehicle from Telangana. All if you have to address all these cases, so what should you use instead of if?
If I can use else or switch case.
Switch case. Yeah, that's the answer. That's the use of switch case. Switch code. Okay. So case state codes no sorry Yeah, state codes dot Maharashtra, then print vehicle is from Maharashtra, right? Again, next case. So it's from Gujarat, right? If it's codes dot next one is Telangana, right? Yes. So it will be here Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so you will do switch case. Let's say will it be executable? No, because it needs a raw value.
Mm.
Okay, so it throw error. It said it needs a string. See, next error is switch must be exhaustive means you need you must and should need a default case. I will say break. You don't have to do default. Okay, so it will print vehicle is from Maharashtra.
Mm.
If I do this to AP, it will print vehicle from Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so this is now if yeah, if I remove it will throw error. So this the enum is self-contained block of some rules, set of rules. Okay, so that's the enum. I think we have done with session. No, properties is there. Yeah, properties. So you must have got an idea about properties. What are the properties? You must get an idea like what are the properties?
Property that variables which are in
Variables
classes.
and constants, right?
Classes.
So basically, properties are two types. One is stored property, one is computed property. The ones we were looking, var name equal to naga is the stored property because it's directly getting stored the stored value. But for computed property, it should be like where full name, it should be string equal to, it will open a brace here, it will return name. Okay, so what it's doing is it's computing itself, it value itself is computing this, it's adding these two things and then returning a value. So it's not storing any value, it's computing means it's doing the operation and returning the value. So this called computing properties. This is the stored property. Okay, again, property declaration, I said why we are using, we are here directly giving the value. Okay, instead of that, if I mention you know data type for this and add this mark here, What it means is I have declared a property here but haven't assigned a value yet. I will assign later by after some time, or I will get a from server call, and then I will assign it a value like this. Okay. You can define some optional properties. Actually this will come when going to optional concept, but I will explain you how to define optional property. By question mark you will define optional property. Means it can be null. Optional means it can be null or it can have value. So when during printing, now you can't direct print this. It will throw an error. Expression implicitly course from into any, or because it's an optional thing. So what you have to do is, sorry, needs a string, right, for printing. Let me make this as an optional. Okay, so if I will say print name, it is throwing error. See, value of optional type string must be unwrapped to a value of type string. Means optional value needs to unwrap. To unwrap this is the force unwrap. This all comes in optionals. I will just say you like to define an optional property. You can define like this. Okay. So this is about the properties. I have shared a link with you, right? One link. Yeah, I will share again. Just go through, this guide. Just just go what we have seen till now only. Okay, don't go behind. Go this tomorrow session. First session we will have in your assessment regarding this. Okay, understand the things. Go with this doc for more clear information. I will share the link with you later. Okay, fine. So yeah, completed.